And I'm live. I apologize for being so late, but I'm an idiot. And this was supposed to have been set up for me so that I could just click a button and StreamYard would go live. But instead, StreamYard has decided that what it wants to do is record. And I know how you guys don't like recordings. So we will go. Good evening, Scooney. So what's going on? We're doing it. What are the other hack stuff things I'm supposed to say? I don't remember. In any event, it's Schmuel. It is Echo Pineapple. Ooh. Was it gonna be cute and cuddly? There's always time, Echo. Always time. In any event, it's Thursday, the 13th of February, and I'm here. I'm trying to get this. So I do a regular Tuesday and Thursday. I didn't really have much to say today, but I wanted to come on anyway. I mean, the Dabbleverse is sort of, to me anyway, because I've been busy all week. I was in Atlantic City last week, and it took up a significant amount of time. So I've been having to work. And a few things caught my eye this week, or my ears, depending upon how you want to look at it. If you haven't heard it, you really need to listen to Blind Mike's Sunday show and his review commentary on the Stuttering John Rob Saul tapes of last week. Those are quite hilarious. But I got caught up a little bit in the steel toe stuff this week because I hear Gino and Keanu got subpoenaed, and neither one of them are going to comply with the subpoenas. They're saying they're not going to go. Lighting a cigar. I'm probably going to find out from YouTube someday that you're not allowed to smoke tobacco on air. But then again, I guess Bob Levy smokes all the time and nothing's ever happened to him. So Gino and Keanu are going to refuse to comply with the subpoenas. I think Kiki wants to, but Keanu, whatever the hell his name is, Gino, is completely not interested. But we're gonna say, well, my friend, this is the basis of what we will talk about this evening. Yes, I don't think in all the accusations leveled at Keanu and Gino, I don't think anyone's ever considered them smart. So there's a way to do this, right? There's a way to not go and be a witness. But in any event, I was watching our buddy Doom, and Doom did a clip. Kiko talks, Gino Bisconti testifying Aaron Himmelt's revenge porn case and fights with Nick Rekieta. And I came to believe that Keanu is one of the dumbest women on the internet. But I'll let you all decide that for yourself as we go along and present. So this is from our buddy Doom, whose work is impeccable. So let's get this shit started.
Really, Gaga? Dosa.
Ozone, thank you for the $4.99. Look, let's jump right to it. You just want to like get right in there.
That's funny.
You were excited to go to Minnesota in May, or are you and Gino fleeing the country? We Gino and I Gino gets tagged in this by someone named Doom on Twitter. And if you know it says this. If
Someone named Doom.
you know Aaron Imholt, we've talked about him a bit, and this is all I'll say about it. It says, and this is why I called it breaking news, Michaeline. Thanks, Doom, for, I guess, combing through the internet to find Minnesota, what shall we call it, court things. But Gino and I got called about this court case before, and we do nothing, as we always do. We just tell the fucking truth.
More do nothing, but
Aaron knows that. Idiot, shitty, trad dad lawyer knows that. They all fucking know it. They all know it. Gino and I will not lie for anyone. This is what we do. Somebody calls us, we're going to tell the truth, right? However, what happened is a complete and total move by one Nick Rekieta to discredit Aaron as a witness in his fucking drug case. It's a ridiculous, stupid.
I'm going to point this out over and over and over again. Nick Rekieta is not the complainant here. The complainant is Kayla Rekieta. Kayla Rekieta. None of this trial goes forward. None of this revenge porn happens if Kayla is not the one pushing it.
Stupid fucking thing. And if you think you're going to get Gino Bisconti out there, you may as fucking well drag him in fucking chains. The man will never go out there. I mean, it will never fucking happen. It's a ridiculous case in and of itself. And it's because of Nick Rekieta, because I can't, my girlfriend and my wife and my 5 kids, and then Aaron left first, and now they battering ram down my door, so I have to discredit Aaron as a witness. So
Aaron had nothing to do with this, right? Aaron didn't have his kids around Pixie Dust. Aaron didn't have his kids around the polycule. Aaron did nothing wrong. I love this take.
I'm going to say this. That's bullshit. So here's the breaking news, Michaeline. Breaking news. Judge orders Gino Bisconti to appear in Aaron Imholt Revenge Prawn Corn.
But is it true?
I
mean, is it true?
Leo Gunn. Leo, imagine voluntarily talking to the police without first consulting an attorney, especially an out-of-state agency that has no jurisdiction over you. My personal opinion on this, if this were me and somebody sent me this picture and I didn't give a shit about the person who sent it to me, I would talk to the cops. I wouldn't really care. I wouldn't need to consult an attorney. I wouldn't need to consult anybody. I would just, tell them what happened. But I would then not come on the air and say, the police talked to me. I wouldn't put the phone call out on the air. I wouldn't say anything. I would just do my civic duty and talk. Or if it were somebody that I thought that this was all bullshit, I would just shut my mouth. I'm an old guy, been in business a long time, had a lot of interactions with the cops. And, as long as I just want to get, I want to get it done. Now, if that out-of-state agency is a federal agency, if it's a federal agency, that's a whole different story because it is illegal to lie to a federal agent. And as we've seen in recent history, sometimes things that you don't understand get caught up as lies. So that's a different story. But this is a local state agency. The guy sent a nudie pic. Oh, well, stupid Aaron shouldn't have done it. My opinion. I know everybody's got different opinions on this, but let's get into the meat of this. Let us watch the world's worst witness. This is gonna definitely, this has to be played in court.
That he's got to go to court.
Gino will never do that. They can fly him out, I suppose.
Yeah, but they could. But they could. I don't know what the word is, but they could insist him come in. They could.
If they do, guess what?
Compel. Compel is the word that you're looking for.
What? It ain't gonna fucking help their case.
Well, I'm just
Ricada,
telling you.
we
They
get
could,
what you're saying. We get what
It ain't gonna help their case. Who's the smarter one? Who's the smarter one in this? Right? The district attorney, the state's prosecutor that prosecutes crimes all the time, or Gino and Kiki, who, I don't know, comedians, maybe, performers.
what you're saying. I expect my fucking thing too, right? I expect mine as well. I can't wait. I for one.
For anybody that's listening, Nick Ricada chatted into the Kiki and Michelin show. Yes, tell the court that you intend to ignore the order. Good way to get a bench warrant. Exactly.
One would love to testify.
yeah,
would
but the
love
court order, he's going to have to go.
I will sit right up there, especially if they're paying. I will sit right up there and be like a stupid idiot asshole who had a drug
I don't think you need a court order for that.
fucking warrant, who had his children taken away from him, is saying this to try and
Let's all remember Aaron doesn't have his children, so therefore they wouldn't be taken away.
get Aaron to be not such a credible witness. And it's stupid and bullshit and absolutely ridiculous. Those images were not disseminated anywhere. A man fucking sent an image that he himself took to a friend of his, and that friend didn't do anything with them. So
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. So, Kiana, you get up on, you get up. I was going to say you get up on stage. You get up in the witness box. They play this for you. And they say, is this what you said? And you obviously have to answer yes. You say, yes, this is what I said. And they say, thank you. You're excused. And I guess the defense could cross-examine, but nothing like admitting the whole case.
So who was hurt in that? No one. You know who was hurt? Probably your fucking children, dude. I for one would love to sit up there and tell the truth. I'd love.
I swear to God, I have no idea who Aaron has as a lawyer, but every lawyer that I've ever had in anything that I've been involved in, no matter how small or how big, has always told me, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to anyone. Don't try to explain it. And that's what you're supposed to do. It's what I've done in the past. Because what I've found interesting in my experience is that people who say things that they think are, oh, this is going to prove the innocence of someone or something, generally just dig the hole deeper which Numbnuts here seems like she's doing.
Love to. So if you think, Rakeda, if you think that this is going to do anything for your, I don't know, soul or life, just take the L, man. You already have. I'm excited for a Rakeda redemption arc if that exists. Okay. Let this one go, but if you can't, that's fine. I for one, even if Gino's a hostile witness, I would love to go and talk up there. I would be perfectly fine with it.
Oh my God. Please, God, never let Kiki testify in my behalf.
Those images weren't scattered amongst the internet. Those images that did not fucking happen. It just didn't. And you know why you did it. You know why you did it, Rakeda. You did it for revenge. You did it to fucking discredit Aaron as a witness because you're a fuck.
No, Aaron did it for revenge. And Nas, I agree. There's not a bright light in this bunch. This was a box of dim bulbs.
Fucking drug addict. Eugene Thomas Visconti is a material witness in the trial of State of Minnesota and Aaron Michael Imholt. That Eugene Visconti will be required to present at said trial in the Stearns County Courthouse, St. Cloud, Minnesota, beginning on May 13th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. The Minnesota law provides for the Stearns County Attorney Office to undertake to assure that all reasonable expenses of Eugene Thomas Visconti associated with his testifying at trial in the above referenced matter beginning on May 13th, 2025. Guess what? He's busy. Will be promptly reimbursed.
Look, Echo, good question. Echo's asking, you think the judge will sympathize with sending revenge porn because of Nick's separate case? I think what the dimwits here don't understand, and I also think if you watch Michelene, she's freaking out because I think she probably pretty smart, or at least worldly enough to understand why the hell are you talking about this. But the separate Nick cases, everything besides these pictures has nothing to do with anything. The law doesn't really care what the reason is that you send out revenge porn, right? If you send it out because you're angry, that's Jesus, that's fucking revenge porn on its face. Like, who the hell needs to tell you that? Now, I mean, is the question like Nick's Aaron's attorney going to ask was, no, it wasn't revenge porn. He was proud of it. I don't know, man. I totally don't think so, but let's go through this.
And what? We would do what we always did. Tell the fucking truth. He would do what he always did. Just tell the fucking truth. I don't see any fucking person being like, this hurt anyone. This is an obvious just fucking ploy to discredit a witness in a larger fucking case. Sorry. I, for one.
Back to our boy Echo with how stupid do you have to be to commit this crime on a live stream? You have to be pretty stupid. But then again, Aaron's never really been accused of being very smart. Although I imagine that Slam Piece every night tells, Aaron, you're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. I think that's a reference from like the 80s. Oh, let me pull you down. Sorry, guys, I don't have Dave here. So I gotta do this shit myself.
To sit there. And Eugene probably would too. He would scream and yell and be perfectly fine. So yeah. And I love Arcade Lodge is still in here.
I love it. I picture Gino being in court screaming and yelling, and the judge having him cool his heels in a Minnesota jail cell for a few days while they're waiting for the trial to end. And I also like the notion that these guys think that screaming and yelling in court is going to benefit Aaron. Uh, just fantastic. We're going to get, when we're done with this, we're going to, Nas Redna, keep your mouth shut and settle what is what Aaron should have done. We're going to get there, man. That's sort of the end of all this. Yeah. Gino's going to have his free Aaron headband on.
I have all of Keanu's text talking about Aaron. Notice she never shared those. What? I can't believe that this is him, and I still don't know that it is. So I'm not going to abide by that. Good. I'm glad. Share any fucking text of mine.
Let's never forget the fact that this broad took pictures of her asshole, posted them on the internet, and then accused Kevin Brennan of revenge porn for putting them up on Twitter. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, if Kayla took those pictures, she posted them on the internet, I don't think any of us would have any problem with us.
Fine. Perfectly fine.
Watch Michaeline, guys. Watch him.
Right, Michaeline?
Right.
So that's the long and short.
Michaeline is freaking out. She's like, my fucking stupid daughter is going to talk herself right into a goddamn jail cell. Imagine this. She's already got to pay for their honeymoon, probably paying for their rent. Now she's going to have to pay for Gino's bail. Oh boy, what a catch he was.
Short of it. All right, and then now I guess we'll read Dipshit's $20. Thank you, Ricada Law, if it's the real you, and I don't know if it is or not. I tend not to care. You're weird. Ricada Law, thank you for the $20. It's me, hence the check mark.
Ignore
Oh,
me. in
mommy,
the
did you
chat.
notice this check mark?
No.
It's me, hence the check mark. Okay.
Ignore me.
Ignore me in the chat. I'm not talking to you. You. Okay, this is stupid. It can't be him. He's not this dumb.
No, let's
It's
say
already
it.
laughable.
You betrayed and hurt your friend.
Okay, it's me, hence the check mark. Ignore me in the chat. I'm not talking to you. You betrayed and hurt your friend. You fucking okay, all right. You put her personal business online for the world when you told her you wouldn't. You're horrifying. Ricada Law,
I think it is him.
let me tell you something right now, Ricada Law.
That's the most honest thing that's been said on the stream so far.
Okay, but I don't even think you're a lawyer anymore. I was worried about my friend. I was very worried about my friend. If anyone is fucking bad to her, it's you, dipshit. It's you. And you know that. Or else why would you be in my lowly, silly little live stream right now?
And we all know the only way to help your friend that you're so concerned about is to call the headbutting ex-husband, because that's going to help.
Trying to blame it on me. You're fucked. You're fucked up. And you know when I was worried about her, stupid, dumb, dipshit, fucking trad dad, I've never had a battering ram knock down my door. I also don't have children, number one. Number two, you know what I'm talking about. You can say all you fucking want. You're a horrible person. You are a horrible person. How many times did I try and call you when I was worried about her, dipshit? Thank you for the $20. But you know what? You might want to save it up. I know you had to sell the house that she was living in. So fucking suck my dick. Suck
Because Aaron ratted them out.
my dick, trad dad. Whatever you're saying is not very Christ-like, is it? She'll come around. Where is she? Do you know? That was the breaking news.
Oh,
we may
I
have to
thought
go
you were
to.
going to send me real breaking news.
No, I'm gonna break my fucking. I don't know, break my head against the wall for the fact that this is still going on, just
Like-
because a stupid, silly man who had his children taken away from him still just wants to get Aaron so much, just wants to get him, just wants to get him. Your wife probably hates you. You don't know where April is, dumb shit.
If Rekida's wife hates him, why is she continuing with this, right? Because if she doesn't testify, what's the term they say? No case, no face? Or no face, no case? Ah, I'm an idiot.
Shit, do you? You sold the house she was living in up from under her. Let it go, man. Just fucking let it go. Let it go. Why don't you talk to your
Up from under her. The house was listed. People went and saw it. It's not like April just found out about this, Thursday night, and Friday she had to pack her bags and go.
kids? Again, I say, what the fuck are you doing on here in Untoward Tuesday? Where are your children? Tucked into bed? Did you even think to tuck them into bed? What does your teenage child think of you? Not much. God.
Pretty creepy tucking your 16-year-old into bed.
Oh my God. He can't possibly think much of you. Okay. You gotta listen. Focus on your sentencing, dog. All right. That's enough. That's enough for you. Yeah, I guess we better start talking about something else before he comes in here and starts.
Because he will
screaming.
start screaming.
Because it's a farce, Mom. I need to say this. I have to. It's a farce. What's
Well,
happening?
go ahead, but I don't know how to respond.
Just.
Mom doesn't know how to respond again because she's watching her daughter put on her own handcuffs.
Just understand it's a complete and total farce used by fucking Nick Rekieta to discredit a witness
Kayla Rekieta.
with all of his dumb fucking bullshit. Okay? And he
Look, even if this were the case, right? Even if he were looking to discredit Aaron, even if that stuff was going on, Nick's pled. He's waiting for his sentencing. He's done. They don't need to do this anymore. And as I will repeat over and over and over again, Nick doesn't have anything to do with this. This is Kayla. So unless Nick is, holding Kayla's hand as she signs the paper, unless he's, got a gun to her head, forcing her to proceed with this, this is Kayla. This is not Nick.
he's such a little pussy that he just can't. This is his way of weaseling. Well, it happened and blah, 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 whatever. Gino and I have never done anything but tell the fucking truth. And that's it. He still can't let it go. Instead, he's still in our fucking chat right now, not talking to his kids, not spending time with his fucking.
So is the truth that Aaron sent revenge porn? I mean, is that the truth? Is that what we're talking about here?
Teenager who's probably still awake going, God, Jesus Christ, I hate my parents. When's the next time I'm going to go to CPS for some bullshit? Whippets. No, instead, he's going to needle about this stupid fucking bullshit with Aaron to discredit him as a witness.
Discredit him as a witness to what? Nick's case is settled. What witness would Aaron be?
It's bullshit. Okay. In my opinion, was it the smartest thing to do? But who was hurt by it? You're the one that hurts people, dummy. You stupid idiot former lawyer.
Hit the follow button, hit the like button.
Pardon me, would you have any...
Fuck you, Doom.
But of course.
We are doomed as a civilization.
There is no victor. There is is only doom.
My personal opinion when it comes to using other Clippers stuff is that we play the intros and the outros because their work is awesome and they deserve it. So what I want to do is scroll back a little bit to something that Nas Redna said. There's a few things. So actually, we'll go to that one after. I have, I like some of the other stuff. Right? Too bad Michelin didn't have a kill switch. Imagine you're a mother or a parent, hell, even a good friend. You have some experience in life and you're watching the person next to you dig themselves a legal hole and dig themselves a legal hole and dig deeper and dig deeper. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is your daughter. And I'm telling you, she's got to be thinking two things. She's got to be thinking, my daughter is just getting herself in more and more trouble. And this is going to cost me a bunch of money. So scroll down, Nazwa. Nazwa. Sorry, guys. I'm old. Everyone in this situation is despicable. And I 100% agree. I am not. There's no good people in this. I'm not on anyone's side. I'm looking at this from what would happen if I was Aaron or Nick's friend and how do they handle this? But I have a shit ton of animosity, internet animosity, because it doesn't really change my life, towards Aaron. And that goes back to when this all first happened and Numbnuts came out of the dark, went on Kino Casino, went everywhere, and started calling his ex-wife a coke whore and a slut and all these other things. Aaron, you were there. You were part of this. You were part of this whole thing. You're going into town square and, telling everyone what you did. It's not enough, right? And what you're doing is you're blaming your ex-wife for getting you in this situation. And I don't believe for a minute that this would have happened ever if you hadn't talked her into it. That's just an opinion. But let's go forward here. All right. So then we'll go down to Nas. Sorry. Kiki is the judge, jury, and executioner. Nah, she's just an idiot. Deitwa. Kiki, she ain't smart. No truer words have been said. And to my pal Mint Diggity, who breaks my balls on here, but was really, really super nice and great to meet in AC. If you watch that again, you could probably, if you watch it with the sound off, not that, you want to lose another 12 minutes of your life. Just watch it with the sound off. Watch Michelin. She's freaking out during this whole thing. And let's go down. There was one thing we'll do two things. First, I'm going to go our other friend KB, who was really somebody that I love dearly on the internet. Inviting Nick to Hackamania is pretty gross. Frankly, I don't think so, because I think it's all about selling tickets. And look, who wouldn't want to do what is that show on Friday? The Piggy Show. mean, who wouldn't want to do a piggy show with Nick Rekieta live? I mean, just the views from that, from the LawTube community, are going to be wild. And Mint Diggity, doing business with him is very gross. LOL. I don't know. I have an opinion, but we'll get there a little bit later. So Mint Diggity is not going to answer your question on here, I don't think, Leo. But he did. But from my understanding, Mint Diggity picked him up and took him home. And that's why the next day, when old Rob was threatening the shit out of me, I was laughing because I thought, well, does the jitney run late on Sunday nights? And Mint Diggity isn't coming back. And look at this. We have the very sexy and charming Dave Sarah.
Hello.
Hey, Dave.
How's it going?
And if you're asking me what I'm smoking, it was a very cheap cigar that I bought from bestcigarprices.com. They're like, I don't know, 50 cents a piece. They're fantastic. And I love them. I don't know enough. Good cigars are wasted on me. In AC, I offer Reels a Romeo and Julieta. These are mini cigarillos, and they're pretty cool to stand out. You know, we were by the slot machine smoking, and they're pretty cool for that. And Reels, being the amazing guy he is, then offers me what looked like about a $10 or $12 cigar, and I didn't take it from him because I felt like it would be wasted on me. So
that's how I feel about my palate in most situations.
Your talent?
You know, my palate.
I'm
not able to notice the tannins or the this and that in the wines or the good foods. It just all gets wasted on me.
Cookie Buckman, who I heard, Dave, I got a couple of DMs saying that you were shitting on.
No.
Calling her a beast, as a matter of fact.
I didn't call her a beast. I said the only. All right, maybe I might have called her.
No. It's all right. It's fine.
She's in the MLC verse now.
But yeah, I mean, look, you don't get a choice to. You really, you come into the MLC verse, and you step in, and you didn't do it. So Nas had a great chat that I seem to have lost. I was also insulted. I told you this, right? Ray DeVito insulted me. He called me after the show the other night to yell at me about talking about his car. So I won't talk about that. And some people saying things in the chat. And I said, well, the chat was moving so quickly, I couldn't keep up with it, and I didn't see the chat. And Ray was like, you got 20 people watching. How could the chat be moving fast?
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
I actually enjoyed Ray's show today with that guy. I enjoyed that guy. I thought he was a good sport, and he was a pretty good head on his shoulders.
Oh, I didn't see much of it, but I whatever. So
Donahue,
keep your mouth shut and settle what is what Aaron should have done. A couple of weeks ago, when Nick settled, and Nick came out and talked, and the settlement went forward, Aaron said, well, Nick challenged them. He looked for a Frank's hearing to get the search warrant thrown out. He had Nick had done a bunch of stuff to try to get the case tossed. It didn't work, and he wound up having to settle. But Aaron said, well, what Nick did was he was really trying to get them to go to trial because, when you demand going to trial, you always get a better deal in the end. And what I think we're learning here is Aaron does not know what the fuck he's talking about. My feeling is that this probably wasn't as big of a deal as is being made of it, but his stupid attitude just managed to piss off the prosecutors. And the deal with prosecutors is they hold all the cards, they've got all the money. And Aaron is a goddamn idiot. So, Dave, you got any thoughts
On Aaron?
on Aaron, on Kiki? We just went through Kiki
Yeah.
helping the prosecution by telling everyone that Aaron sent the picture. So, anyway, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess we knew. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could have been a joke until they pulled the records and stuff. But I mean, at what point are you gonna be lying about that stuff anyway? So I don't see anything wrong with her stating the truth, really, especially if it keeps her husband out of jail. I guess I don't really know, but I just think that for the most part, everybody, even Ethan Ralph and stuff, they're talking about like how, oh, the judge this and the judge that is gonna be like, he's gonna be all pissy because you said this. Like these judges, even if you send them all this shit, even if they get bombarded, like they're not. You think they really care all that much? So what? He's gonna be subpoenaed to Zoom court to answer some questions that he's already stated on the internet.
No,
And
they
if-
actually
if he
want
doesn't-
him to. They want him to appear in a court in Minnesota.
Okay. And if he doesn't, but he'll have an arrest warrant in Minnesota if he doesn't go.
Right, for that period of time. What I couldn't find out, I was trying to search this out last night. Apparently, I thought several things. I thought, one, if you're in New York and this is going on in Minnesota,
Mhm.
Fuck it, there's nothing they can do to you. And the second thing I thought is in these trials, the judge could hold Gino in contempt, but that once the trial ended, the indictment fell to the side because there's no point in holding him in contempt. I found the thing about my thought on the contempt indictment was wrong, that the judge could punish you beyond the trial. And secondly, what I found out, but I don't know if it works with New York and Minnesota, is different states have different agreements with each other on whether or not they will enforce a subpoena. So it's quite possible that maybe the subpoena isn't enforced in New York, but if the judge issues an arrest warrant, that might be enforced in New York. I don't know the answer. I'm obviously not a lawyer. I'm just an idiot.
I guess what could happen is if they really wanted to, I think usually like a guy from like the attorney general of a state can ask the other attorney general from another state to make it harder on the person to skip the subpoena. But I mean, really, these things are like, what are they, like $500 fines at the most? I mean, I don't know. It seems like
Apparently,
people making a
in
big deal of
Minnesota,
nothing.
this guy could give Gino a sentence of up to 90 days.
Oh no!
Yeah.
3 months. Can't have Gino off the air for 3 months.
Could you
Who would we
imagine
make fun
Gino
of?
in jail?
Well, KB would have a field day with it, but
Gino certainly wouldn't.
now what if they tell Gino to come and then yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's something you can do too, where there's like a husband and wife and you're not You should never be. You don't have to. Fifth Amendment rights, whatever. You don't have to. What's the term? Like, you're not. You should
Spousal
never be.
privilege, are you talking about?
Yeah, you're not inclined to talk about your spouse, or you should not be.
Right, but he doesn't have to talk about his spouse.
Right, he doesn't have to, but maybe there's some kind of weird protection there that I don't know. I'm
No,
not a
but
lawyer.
he's not testifying against his spouse. This has nothing to
I
do
know.
with his spouse, right? This
I
is
know.
all
Incriminate
Aaron
though,
stuff.
but he's maybe he won't be compelled to incriminate his spouse. Maybe they can pull an angle where they're in cahoots together. Well, I'm not gonna talk about it was me and my spouse who did this. So if you're gonna charge us with something, charge us with something. But I'm not gonna be party to potentially some kind of criminal investigation on my wife.
Yeah, I think you're.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point here. But the way that I understand it, and I talked to a lawyer today.
How do you understand it? Tell me how you understand it.
This is what I'm going to. So I talked to a lawyer buddy of mine today, and
Mhm.
who does not want to hear about this anymore, and
Right.
Gets annoyed every time I ask him a question. But what he said is that the subpoena itself can't be enforced in New York State, right? Nobody's going to come dragging Gino out in New York State, but New York and Minnesota, all states have extradition compacts or treaties or whatever you want to call them. And the judge could issue an arrest warrant for Gino for not showing up. And that could be enforced in New York State. But it depends upon the law. So it depends upon what they've agreed to. So I don't really know. All I do know is that you're making it worse for yourself. And I was also involved in one case back, I think it was like 2013 or 2014, where the plaintiff, it was a civil case, and the plaintiff was shitting on the judge, talking everywhere, saying all sorts of shit. And the judge took him and the two attorneys into chambers, and the guy came out looking like he was he had gotten a talking to that could make him a wee bit upset. He didn't say anything after that. So I think you can piss off a judge, but you don't have to. I think if you piss off the prosecutor, that's enough. But the big point is that Kiki and Gino going on air and talking about this it's just stupid, right? Like, it's just stupid. Why would you? And the more they think they're helping Aaron, the more they're hurting him. So
has Gino been actually subpoenaed yet?
he has. I don't know if he's
what's
been served, but the subpoena has been issued.
And what is do we know the date yet for this court?
May 13th, I think, is the date that he's supposed to appear.
Now, can he prove hardship and just write Gino's broke Gino, or Gino ain't got no money? Like,
they'll pay for it.
Who's they?
The state of Minnesota.
They'll pay for it? First
Yep.
class?
Come on. When has Gino ever gone first class anywhere?
That's true. What?
Except maybe Mickeline's paid for it.
So they pay for your trip out there. Well, if they pay for the trip out there and they put you up in a room and stuff, then I don't see why Gino shouldn't show. You just plead the fifth on everything if he wants. I don't want to incriminate myself or my wife.
Actually, it's not how it works. Well, they just grant them immunity. If they grant them immunity, if you have immunity, you can't plead the fifth. Gino's not on trial. Gino's not going to be. The only thing Gino could get in trouble for is lying on the stand. If he lied, That's the only thing you can get in trouble for. But they're definitely. So, Flat Cat. Great point. This was Kiki said it in her stream that if Gino goes there, he's going to yell and scream and holler in the court. Yeah, that's going to work. You know, if you've ever been to court, there's all these things that you think you're going to do. At least in my experience, man, you think you're going to say this, you think you're going to say that, and you get there and they ask you questions and you've got to answer the questions. And it's totally not what you thought about, unless you sit there with your lawyer for days and be prepped for all the possible questions they could ask you. But then if you're not familiar with court, like as I wasn't, there's so many questions that you go over and so many things that happen. It's like you get asked the question and you try to remember which question you talked about and what answer should I give. And the one thing I do know is they always tell you, give short, sweet answers, Has Gino ever been able to give a short answer to anything? So
according to the Minnesota state, if you're acting on behalf of the state and you're appearing on behalf of the state, they will pay for it. But I don't know if that's the case in this situation. And in witness fees in Minnesota, witnesses receive a $20 fee for each day they are required to appear, more than what he usually makes. Witnesses may also request reimbursement for reasonable expenses such as meals, loss of wage, childcare, and parking. So let's get those super chats going so we can show the state of Minnesota why they lost $5,000 to bring Gino Bisconti over. Wait a minute. He's not going to make that much, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't see a world where Gino not showing up to a revenge porn case in the state of Minnesota, where it's not the state that's bringing charges. Is it the state that's bringing charges to?
Yes.
Gino?
It's not a civil, it's a
Okay.
criminal case. The state brings charges.
The state's bringing charges to Nick. I don't even know anything about this. It's so boring to me. But so the state's bringing charges against Rekieta, and they want Gino as a witness. And
Correct.
So, okay. Well, if they're going to pay for everything, I say Gino should go. I mean, I don't really. I thought this was I thought this was Nick Rekieta going after Aaron or something. I didn't know it was like.
Well, no, that's what they
idea it
would
was
like.
a-
That's what
this-
they would like you. That's what Keanu and Gino would like you to think. But no, it's the state of Minnesota. It's revenge porn. And
Yeah.
what's so funny, like with Kiki earlier saying like that Aaron sent the picture. Kiki has seen it. Aaron sent the picture. Kiki just said that on her stream. Yes, Aaron sent the picture, but nobody was hurt by it. But hurt is not part of revenge porn. It doesn't matter.
Well, but there is a victim. It's the girl whose porn was revenged.
Right.
upon.
It's Kayla Rekieta. So she is the victim.
Fucking
And
Kayla Rekieta.
I got a feeling that all this stuff, like, if you're saying that Nick is doing this and they're doing this because they want to discredit Aaron as a witness, they want to hurt Aaron, it seems to me you're building a, as they like to say, prima facie case that it was revenge. That's why he sent it.
Was that Latin?
Because that's all, I believe so. I mean, on the face of it.
We don't speak Latin on this podcast, right, Schmuel? Come on.
We do. We actually do, and we
Schmuel
will
Talk.
speak. We speak some Armenian as well.
Is it pig Latin? Oink oink.
My
Right.
God, yeah, hilarious.
Little piggy Latin.
The only
Little
piggy
piggy
on
boy.
here, me. Yeah, and then I guess it was either Nas or Leo that said, "Is Gino going to be in court with his headband on?"
It's gonna be he's gonna take a cummerbund and he's gonna put it around his head.
It could be like a free Aaron headband.
No, this is a formal headband. You don't understand, Judge. It's a formal
Right.
headband. I got it at Men's Warehouse down the block.
And
Yeah, man.
Nas.
I don't know. This is like, for whatever reason. I mean, I know it's so they're so entwined. And Aaron was a steel toe. I mean, Aaron was like a sort of like a Dabbleverse guy, and then he was on Compound Media for a little bit. He was friends with Carl, and then all that disappeared. And then Ricada was like this big law tuber. He'd go on Nerdrotic. He'd go on Chrissy's show. Well, I don't know if you ever went on Chrissy's show. But he went on Nerdrotic. He'd go on all these larger shows. You know, he was getting 5,000-6,000 views per stream almost. And then for whatever reason, after all this happened, I don't know why I don't find it interesting. But that's, you know, I don't know. It doesn't engage me for some reason. Just some low level hicks fucking each other. Like, awesome. I don't know.
That's sort of my bottom line on this is like, these were 4 people that had relationships or whatever, and I don't care, right? People do a lot of shit. People are into kink. People are into all sorts of stuff. None of my business, you know. But Aaron, for whatever reason, made this worse. Melton and I shared texts way back when this started, and my comment was, you know, at the end of this, I picture the guy that gets hurt the most is Aaron. Like, how funny would it be if Aaron's the only one that wound up in jail?
And look,
that may very well happen.
What's Aaron's real crime here? That he does the same thing a church does at the end of each show? That he asks for the donation plate to be passed around and put donations in? Like, that's his biggest crime in all this, really? Other than the revenge porn, of course.
Right.
Other than the actual crime that was committed, which is, again, such a low level, stupid little bullshit crime. I mean, the fact that it even got like this far is so crazy.
Well,
I guess it's considered revenge porn. I guess.
I feel like he set out to destroy April, and that's what really caused the problem. I think what he did was he not only ratted them out, he antagonized them as well, and it created so much animosity, you know.
He did break the.
He could have just kept his mouth shut.
He did break the terms of his agreement with his wife. What was that called again? The
harassment restraining order you're talking about?
Restraining order.
Right.
Well, he did he did break the terms of that restraining order. Not supposed to talk about any of that shit. And yeah, I guess what he's really guilty of is like talking about shit he really shouldn't be talking about, I guess. But when you're on the air 8 hours a day, it's tough not to talk about everything that's going on in your life. So, or however many hours.
But he did try. Show. Look, I feel like he tried to sell out. He went on Kino Casino. He went on these other things, thinking that he was going to make bank on this, right? And he ratted out all these people, and he said things. But you know, my real reason why I think Kayla is so pissed off at him is because Aaron bought her that charcuterie fridge, and she was embarrassed because it sounds like she had a relationship with a child. Because that's certainly like, you know, you don't buy the chick you're banging a charcuterie fridge so she can have cold meats while laying in bed.
I mean, it's very Seinfeld-esque, and the pastrami and the pastrami while having sex almost. Do you think that do you think Aaron likes to like put prosciutto on her stomach and be like, "Ooh, let me make a cracker with some cheese and prosciutto"?
Well, I don't know if you've ever tasted prosciutto and cum. Apparently, num.
That's right, dude. That's right.
Charcuterie, Mr. BS.
Charcuterie. This charcuterie board.
She likes meats and cheeses in bed. So, probably. I was thinking of something, but I won't go there. I wonder, or maybe
roast
he's
beef.
not cut, and so is like, dick cheese and
Whoa.
got a little
Hold on.
schmegma.
Let's not talk about people who are uncut. All right. Anteaters unite.
Well, I guess the cheese helps with the docking.
Mm-hmm. It sticks. Yes, my gram stick to your gram head. Right.
But my look, I don't really talk about this that much, and I'm not really all that interested in it. Like, I've tried to watch Aaron, and I used to watch, and I admit this, back when Carl was friends and with these guys, I would watch Aaron unironically in the mornings. I thought he was adult, but he was fine, and I thought he and April were okay. It was cute, this kind of couple, her learning it. But let's not forget that we have to go back to this, that Aaron was making about 20 grand a month on Twitch.
Way back in the day.
Way back
I
in the day.
I didn't listen then, but yeah. I stopped listening. I listened from when they basically, I'd say 2 months before his show started going on Compound, I started watching on YouTube. Maybe when they had 5,000, 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Didn't watch on Twitch. I'd have it on in the morning. It was a good way to get the news. And honestly, I really liked Corey. I liked him with Corey Adams. I enjoyed those shows, the two of them. Those are the ones that I usually would watch and put on in the morning. I'd wake up and it'd be on already. So I'd be getting ready for work, taking a shower, and Steel Toe would be going on. And by the time I was already done, I mean, I never even really caught the end of the show all that often, because by the time I'm in my car, Crowder's on now, or somebody else in the morning is on. So like I would just switch it around, but like that should never even really bothered me that they would do that. It started getting, honestly, I started hating Steel Toe when he started getting into the drama with the chat and the fucking and engaging with the people that were trolling him. I'm like, I don't need to. I'm already that guy. I'm already the guy that's like in chat trolling people. When I'm listening to a show unironically, just to like listen to it and have it in the background, like I'm not in the chat trolling anybody. And I just didn't. I found it disengaging with the actual show that I thought that I was in. Now, once in a while, he started talking about Stuttering John, and all that stuff was engaging for me, and I enjoyed it. But for the most part, like once he started getting into the drama and then stopped talking about the news, like I liked the news part of it. Then it's like the show's over. Like there's no point. And Corey Adams left, and I was like, all right, this is done.
Yeah, I don't remember that far back. I think I got into it around the time he did the Kumia interview. And and I like Carl. He was friends with Carl, so I said I would listen. I didn't say I would listen. I decided to listen. I'd give it a shot. And I've got, a drive to work, and it was like, oh, let's put it on. Right. And there were no commercials. And I don't think he was goal heavy back then.
No,
right?
he wasn't goal. He wasn't talking about the goal. He wasn't. He'd do this. He'd talk about the segment, and in between each segment, he'd just mention the goal, and then go on to the next segment. And at the end, he had that 3-4 minute thing. Dun 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 dun. United choo choo. And I think it was another song before that even too. I don't remember exactly. And look, there's some episodes that like even stand out to me, like the electric shoes you wanna lose. Like I didn't even heard about that clip before from SNL, and when they played it, yeah, they were okay with it getting demonetized and all that, and like getting flagged for copyright and all that. And like that was a pretty funny episode. That was like 3 years ago or something at this point. But there was some good that came from it for me. Like, but yeah, like once it just turned into strictly drama, I disengaged, which is kind of crazy because I'm all about the drama. But that just wasn't he's just
I
so
don't really
milquetoast for me for that.
Yeah, I don't really remember exactly when I got into it or how I got into it, but Mint Diggity couldn't believe people watched it. I remember the hot tub stream, and I didn't
was
get
already gone.
why people were going crazy. And that was sort of like
I was
towards
already
the end
way gone by then.
end for me.
Yeah.
I also think Aaron's an idiot. So when he talks politics and stuff, I'm always like, what a fucking dummy. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I guess,
but
yeah.
Corey was a funny guy. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they worked out pretty well, and Corey certainly wasn't intimidated by Steel Toe, right?
No.
Like that Johnny sits there, and the dude is not allowed to say anything without Aaron
Yeah.
losing his fucking mind.
Yeah. I never really found the Johnny episodes all that entertaining anyway, so I didn't really have anything invested in him or what happened to him or what he said. I didn't mind. I watched a little bit of the April era when it came out. Again, episodes here and there. I really disconnected a lot from Steel Toe back in when probably the end of 2022, when he would start saying, "Oh, Discord's for the fans. It's not for me to go on Discord and talk to the people." It's like, no. That's not, you don't tell that to people. Like don't make the Discord, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a rude, stupid thing to say. That means that you're not really involved with your community or your fan base. So I find that kind of shit kind of disgusting anyway. But there was no real, other than just it being kind of boring, other than it just trailing off and being boring, there wasn't any real thing that happened that made me stop watching. It was just kind of drifted away from it.
Every time we talk about this, I realize that I must have barely listened to him because I don't remember any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the guy does. There's a lot of hours of content on him, so there's plenty of times for you to miss what the fuck he said. Unless you're glued to the television, and I certainly missed plenty of even the time that I was listening. But I mean, I specifically remember him saying that. I remember even where I was in the kitchen at Made Goods when I worked there. And I just been like, "Oh, this is disgusting," and I just turned it off and barely went back and listened ever.
Yeah, I was kind of fascinated by April because I used to listen. Steel Toe has a thing. He just thinks he's such a smart guy, and I just always pictured him. I pictured April as sort of this wood nymph who got caught up in this. And Aaron, at the time that they met, he was doing that 20 grand a month. And I think she was just fucking mesmerized. And Aaron was like talking to her about being successful. I think this chick pictured that the two of them were going to eventually have, 1 million viewers. We're going to live a life of luxury and charm. And it just never happened. And the longer she was there, the more he kept falling in a hole, right? Like, he's telling her about the money, and then we find out he wasn't really giving. He was supposedly paying her 50 grand a year, but he wasn't really giving her the 50 grand a year. And she probably kept baffling him with bullshit, and reality probably kept hitting her. Like the cognitive dissonance of, wow, we're going to be fantastic. We're going to be amazing. But every month, the money coming in was less and less and less. Right. And
eventually,
she wanted something. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and $20,000 on Twitch is a month is very different than $20,000 on YouTube. I'm telling you that much. Because when you're making that money off of Twitch, it's only Streamlabs, PayPal, it's only the places that literally only charge you transaction fees. Like, if you made $20,000 a month on fucking YouTube, bro, they'd be taxing the shit out of you.
You'd gross 20, you'd get 10.
Essentially.
Right.
Essentially. And so that's especially, and then you switch over to YouTube, you're accepting super chats, you're a small you're kind of a small channel at first, even though you get up to. I know I said this before, but like back in back. I still remember when I was watching it, they were still almost at 10,000 subscribers. You know, they're approaching 10,000, and then there was the thing that happened with the 10,000, and then it'd go under, and then they never quite reached it. And Melton was responsible for some of that or whatever. But to look at their channel right now, it only has 3,000 subscribers more than at that point is fucking mind blowing to me because they've had so much juice since then. It feels like everybody's talking about Steel Toe and Ricade and all this stuff. And I'm sure there's a reason because like people don't want to give them the subs or the views or whatever. But on top of that, it's just like just by nature and by trends and all that stuff, like you should feel like you should have way more than that. And like Doom and
Right.
Stalin both got to 5,000-6,000 subscribers like pretty quickly. So the idea that like you would really only gain 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers when you have 10,000 already from all this is like they must really hate him, and it's all hate views and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that kind of just sort of proves my point a little bit that like this is not as engaging as like it's not so engaging to the masses as everybody thinks, and you have to kind of know a lot. What I really did like, honestly, I really liked how Aaron got burned by Kiwi Farms. Because one thing that I really hated that I listened to, or okay, well, he's close to it. It's at 3,000 something, whatever. But like the idea that like the idea that like Aaron would be so fucking dumb to like invoke Kiwi Farms and like keep on wanting them to like go after Ricada and go after this. And then he gets finally on May 27th or whatever, he finally gets that article that he wanted, right? Some like not article, but that post in Kiwi Farms that talks about all the Ricada stuff and the yada yadas and all that blah. And it kind of doesn't make him look that bad. And then he started going on his fucking victory lap. And then Kiwi Farms finally, you know, they finally like smartened up, for lack of a better term, and they finally went after his ass. So that I liked because, you know, I've said this a bunch of times before. You don't invoke a place like Kiwi Farms and expect them to be nice to you. Like, wait till they go after somebody. Don't try to bait them into going after somebody because you'll find yourself the next target, and they certainly did. In his own thread, that's right.
But it's like the Dabbleverse, you know, or any of the internet stuff, right?
But Kiwi Farms
There's
is
always-
particularly
as-
brutal.
There's always going to be the turn, always. And you know what Aaron doesn't understand is that people that go after Ricada aren't going after Ricada because they like Aaron. It's because they dislike Ricada.
Yeah.
And they would go after if Aaron were the more interesting person to go after, they would just go after them, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not, you know, and that's what he thinks is like he thinks that if we're
The enemy of my
say
enemy is my friend.
good thing about Ricada, that means that we hate Aaron, or if we say something good about Aaron and negative about Ricada, we love Aaron, and that's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know, man.
100%.
Kiwi Farms is like, I don't know. It's like playing with dynamite, you know? Like,
yeah.
So it's all fun. And the one thing that I've said, and I say it over and over again, is this thing of that I was told a long time ago is like, you know, you decide when to play with the tiger decides when to stop.
Yeah, right. So true. Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of experience, but I was talking about it earlier today with my buddy Corey. Like there was this whole article about Don Barris, Perry Caravello, and Mole about the Big Three podcast, and then like how, you know, Perry was getting wooed away by some guy named Tom or something like that to like be his handler or whatever, so he can start like humiliating him on screen so they can all make money, which I guess is fine. But I used to go to Kiwi Farms for that source, and like people were particularly brutal on there. I mean, I don't remember if there was doxing or anything going on. I'm not going to go that far, but like, there's like some people that, they're looking up criminal reports, criminal records. They're going after they'll go after everybody, whoever they seem like is the culprit on all this. And I think in the end they ended up kind of like siding with Perry a little bit, but there wasn't much they could do to Don because he was so connected in Hollywood with Kimmel that they couldn't really do much. And yeah, I know what you mean, Detroit by Dark, but like I just don't know if personally there was any doxing going on in that particular case. Like, I mean, I get that people get doxed online all the time, like whatever. But the fact that like that was my first, and it's basically like 4chan. I mean, it's like, everybody's anonymous for the most part, and you just got to go with you gotta hope that you're not a target and some of this stuff. And basically, and for the most part, Kiwi Farms only really goes after people who are like grifting, like their audience, and or doing illegal shit to, like doing illegal shit or grifting or just being a complete piece of shit human. So as long as you're not grifting or stealing or committing any crimes, you should be fine. But
Right.
to invoke,
But in this,
Kiwi Farms is wild.
yeah, and in the Nick thing, I mean, you would expect Kiwi Farms to go after. I mean, he was a big law tuber, right? Making a lot of money, and he gets caught in a scandal. Uh, People are going to go after that, So I'm just amazed at. Excuse me. I'm amazed at how wrong the law tubers have been in this whole thing. I want to go back to something that Deitois said.
In what sense, though?
In what sense? What?
How are all the law tubers wrong?
Well, because if you watch them in the beginning of this, they were basically like, Nick is going away. Nick is going to jail. And they appeared to me to be not observers, but they just disliked Nick. And so they would say anything they could to shit on him.
April is fine looking. She's a little too skinny and thin for me, but she's a fine looking girl. I mean, I probably would fuck her, but I mean, that doesn't mean much.
Right.
Consensually, of course. Consensually fuck her.
Look, I feel like that developed over time. I don't feel like when she came into this, she looked perfectly innocent to me, perfectly unaware, but getting involved in polycules and coke and stuff will totally make you turn you trashy. I've seen it over and over again, which also may be part of the reason why I was so annoyed at Aaron, because when he came out afterwards in his his Al-Anon meetings and his 12-step and his God and all that other stuff, it was just such bullshit. I've been in those rooms quite a while, and I will tell you that people work very hard to overcome these things. And Aaron acting like it was nothing, and and he had it, he got it, and everybody else didn't. Just asshole.
Yeah, I wonder, I guess really my last question is who like how much coke was April doing before she met Nick, and how much was she doing afterwards? That's what I really only care about.
I've always been under the assumption that she was not doing any before she met Nick. Right?
I mean, it's very possible, but these are white people in Minnesota, so you never know.
Maybe I'm naive, but remember what April used to like. She was out doing the roof, she was hunting, she was exercising. You know,
She was painting
hard-
valves.
it's
Yes.
hard to maintain that figure and your look and everything when you're doing lots of coke.
Whoa. Leo Gunn, you kind of blew my mind right there. Huh. I never thought about that. Wow.
You didn't think those trips to Minnesota were
They weren't for gigs, dude. They weren't because Gino's hilarious and he's gonna sell out Stonies. No, wow, I never thought about that. I don't see Gino as the type of guy who would swing. I feel like Gino's probably a little. I don't know if Gino's secure enough for that with his sexuality for that. I don't know. I don't know. If you ask me, Gino should have been Kiki's fucking OnlyFans editors, handler / producer, but they pawned that off to some weird creepy guy, and well, now the Biscontes.
yeah, but that
will
I
need to
look.
take
Are
out a
you
second on their house.
are you talking about producer Rob?
Yeah, producer Rob.
All right, let's put him to the side for a minute. We'll get back to him in a second. I'm just going to write a quick note. By the way, I don't know how the fuck you listen to Crowder.
I mean, I don't really that much anymore. That is mostly on Rumble, but I did when he was on YouTube. Just because I just need something to carry me off until Rogan releases his podcast that day.
I couldn't. Yeah, I'm not a real Rogan fan either.
No, really.
I don't like these guys that I don't know. There's no like introspection. I think they're like they know all the answers and
Yeah,
I don't know.
it is a little difficult. It is a little difficult to like trust Rogan on certain things when he doesn't know how much toothpaste and a toothbrush costs. So I get what you mean there.
I go back to the old O&A days when he would talk about drugs or archaeology, dinosaurs, the development of this, and he makes a lot of assumptions of evidence that is not currently in fact. I want to say
coming currently though now.
Detroit. Imagine eating coke and kink so much that overcomes your moral compass to do it in front of kids. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue that, but I think that I really do believe that came later. I think the coke came first. They met Ricada in November of 22 or 23. And they got involved in it. And, coke is a powerful drug, right? Right, Dave? Very hard to kick the old cocaine.
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm doing all right now.
Right. And plus they were doing, they had ketamine,
like
I'm sure they had other stuff. And, I've known a lot of decent people who get, caught up in that. It's very hard. So I don't know, and then never having been a cokehead, I could imagine that the rush of it and it probably just pumps your adrenaline, and you need more and more to maintain that level of adrenaline, not just the coke, but the kink and living dangerously and all that stuff, So I don't know. Look, April's an adult. She has control over herself. She should make her own decisions and all that. But I just feel like Aaron led her down a path that was bad. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but she used to go to the church that her family went to was a very conservative, like Bible believing gospel church. And she was kicked out of that church when she hooked up with Aaron. And so I don't know.
Remember that.
Yeah, she used to go to, they weren't allowed to go to the church, and she missed going to that church, and they weren't allowed to go because of what happened with Aaron. And I don't know, I think, remember when you were a kid and your parents told you that, somebody wasn't good to hang around with, and you were like, you're wrong. And at least this happened to me, you'd be like, no, you're wrong. And then you become more and more like anti-parent and much more into that person. And you start seeing them do shitty things, but you're so invested in proving somebody else wrong that you continue that. And that's what I think happened.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go have dinner, Buckman. I'll talk
Awesome.
to you, bud.
I got to get off soon anyway. I didn't want to run past you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Bye bye.
All right, thanks,
David
dude.
Sir on YouTube. Thanks.
Well, I didn't know that, Leo. I mean, it's not a surprise. And the comedians in New York have told me things that I don't want to hold anybody's sexual proclivities against them. Like, I don't really care what Kiki does. I don't care what Nick does or Aaron or Gino sexually. But I don't know. This is pretty sleazy, especially when you got the kids around. Because how do you have 5 kids living at home? They have to know what's going on. And it's just got to be weird. It's got to be awful for the children. And I agree, Deitois. From the minute I heard that, I was like, ew, what the fuck? Yuck, yuck, yuck. And the whole thing just seems gross to me. And let's go down here. I got it, Leo. I got it. I think what Dave was saying, not to speak for him, but I think what Dave was saying was he didn't see Gino doing it. I don't think he said that Kiki wouldn't be involved in it. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't care. I honestly, I care for neither Ricada nor Aaron. I don't really know anything about Kayla, but my gut tells me that sending out naked pictures of her that he had agreed not to send out was pretty fucking gross. And we'll leave it up to a jury and a judge to decide whether it rises to the level of revenge porn. But feels like it did to me. Affy, I'm gonna put this up, and if you say that she said that, I will believe you. But again, I don't want to hold it against her. But the deal is like, all right, I'm not judging their kink. I'm not judging their sexual behavior, but I wouldn't want them around kids, right? Like I wouldn't want them around me. They're not the kind of people that I just not the kind of people that I would spend time with or be friends with. But I really do think that most of this shit happened post Ricada, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just a naive old fucker, but I really feel like what do you call it? That April was sort of led into this. In the beginning, I didn't know anything about Ricada and the hedonism and their swinging and all that stuff. I don't know anything about the trad dad stuff. I guess I had assumed when I had heard it, I had assumed that they were into that stuff, and then they went to church and found God or something like that. But I'm probably wrong. But I still, man, if somebody told me they bought a chick a charcuterie fridge, I'd be embarrassed for the chick. Big time. And Detroit, Affy, I believe you, but my God. Look, I mean, if you were double penetrated, why the fuck would you say that on air? But if I remember correctly, I was never really much of a Chrissy fan. I'm friends with Pat Dixon, and Dixon told me that Chrissy's very funny. I didn't see it. But as I remember, Chrissy's show was it Simcast or something? I mean, every time I turned it on, it was just OnlyFans girls and Lainey bringing in strippers and stuff like that. So they were probably trying to one up each other on who had dirtier sex. And I disagree. Detroit, I disagree with that conclusion, but it's possible. And I'm physically revolting, and I have a lovely and what I think attractive wife. So, and she's, I'm certainly not the money winner or breadwinner or whatever the hell it is in our little family. So who knows? But I really don't want to sound like I'm defending April. I just feel like I've seen this in 12-step programs where I've seen young women get led into things that they shouldn't be. They would never have confronted had somebody not introduced them to it. Like April might have gone her whole life and never seen or touched cocaine or swinging. What I think is, I think Aaron wanted to do it because I think Aaron wanted to show her off, but that's just an opinion. Right, but you did say Nick was physically revolting. So I don't know, which is it? And based on some of the chats here, I've got a shit personality. All men involved in the Minnesota Tryst are hideous. Could not agree more. I was laughing because a friend of mine said that Minnesota is a great place to be from, but if you're there past your college years, you're fucked up. Your life, it's over. Leo Gunn. Ray would call none of them handsome. Well, we don't know about Ray. And Leo Gunn, by my viewing and by all reports from women, is a very attractive man. I can't imagine what it would be like to live with that burden. In any event, guys, I am going to wrap it up in a few minutes, unless we have more. Cute, very cute. Cough, Detroit. I live in Minnesota. It's nothing like this dumpster fire where I'm at. Gotcha. Yeah, it's just, God, it's a problem, right? Like we see the worst of Minnesota in this internet world that we're in. And I guess it's a lot like, I'm in New York, and when you see Manhattan, right, it's all fancy. It started with Seinfeld and Friends, and then Sex in the City and all that stuff. But real life is nothing like that here. And So it's like, you see them getting out of big black cars, the big SUVs, going to different places. And I'm sitting on the subway with people from all over the world and some who stink. And I got to come to work the other day and see a guy standing outside taking a shit. Although I will say, this is sort of interesting to me, on where my office is, on both corners are bodegas, and there are always people hanging out drinking, and migrant people speaking a different language, and they've been gone. They haven't been around. Now, maybe it's because it's January or February, but I seem to remember them having been there all the time, and they're not there anymore. No, 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 it wasn't Ray. I'll always defend Ray. And even Patrick Melton said today that you really want to hate Ray, but when you meet him, you can't help yourself. You're just nice to him. And Schmuel, it is time to get a Dominican hairline. I don't know what a Dominican hairline is, but I go to Dominican barbers. That's my thing, because I'm losing my hair, so I like the buzz cut. I can't stand the guys with the scissors. It just takes forever, and in the end, they wind up buzzing me. I don't know why my camera keeps blasting me. I'm already fucking pale enough as it is. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Deitois, I think said it earlier about like confirmation hearings and stuff. So far, I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out, except for RFK Jr. I think he's a nut. And I also think that he's very, very into the trial lawyers and lawsuits, and I think that's going to suck. And Dave mentioned it, but I haven't seen it. Do you have an opinion there, Stalin? Apparently not. All right, guys. It's been an absolute blast, and I can't tell you how hard it is for me to talk negatively about women. I've always tried to lay off Keanu. I don't know. I just don't want to be one of these guys that just slamming women all the time. But man, she just deserves it. Everything. And I'm going to close with this thought. For 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years, we've been listening to Gino talk about Pat Dixon, and he hit 3 women, and he did this, and he did that. There is no evidence, court evidence, that Pat ever hit anyone. He says he didn't. I'd like to believe him, but I get not wanting to be around him. I get not, wanting to do that, or I get even believing it. But don't load me up with the bullshit about what an evil man Pat is when we have court records that show that Aaron headbutted his wife, intimidated her, and did all sorts of nastiness to April. So if you're going to be honest, then be honest. Don't just pick things because they're convenient and they help push your story along. And lastly, I will say I did listen to something with Gino. Oh, Quad called Gino, and Gino was all pissed off at Granny because Granny and Lemmy had said that Gino was was N-wording and N-wording on stage at Stoney's, and Gino thought that they were lying about him, et cetera, et cetera. But we find out in the end that they weren't lying. What it is that Gina was using it as part of a joke, and therefore it was okay. So who knows what the story is? I could shit on Gina all night. You guys are quite fantastic. I have currently 10 people watching me on YouTube, which is 10 more than I deserve. And as I always say, I love having this little thing up in the left, which says that I have 31 people watching me because it counts 21 on X, and that makes me feel like I'm actually accomplishing something. Good night, guys. It's been a blast. Bye.